I think we've been here at an interesting time where we've seen the turmoil and the terrorist activity heighten over what it's been in previous months. And so to be here at this particular time and to witness it firsthand is obviously something that we're going to take back to the United States and make sure that the truth is told. And for me, it's one about showing Israeli restraint, but it's also one that we can't live in a spirit of fear. And so it's making sure that we address the problem, but also knowing that as we address the problem, it's one that's not likely to go away soon if we don't act with decisive decisions both from the Israeli government and from the government of the United States.
These are eye-opening and heartwarming experiences when I come here. Eye-opening in the sense that each time you come, you get to experience a different aspect of the life here, the business issues here, but also obviously the conflicts that need to be addressed. Heartwarming because both of us have a real love for the country.
Talking about conflict these days, the conflict is being emphasized.
Yeah, so I made a comment about this last night. Seems like each time I've come here, this is the third time, there's been a conflict, whether it was the current one, the one time we were coming during the bus bombings, or the other time the cafe bombings. So each time we've experienced it, there's been conflict. This one, so when people speak about peaks in conflicts, it's just a perpetual aggression from the outside that needs to be addressed.
The anti-Israel agenda, the anti-Israel opinions, they come from misperception or from different ideals and agendas?
Well, I think they're different ideals and agendas, but also perceptions. I think both of those come into play. One of the things that we've been able to do is break down some of those perceptions, to see Palestinians and Israelis working together, in a cooperative, peaceful manner here in the industrial zone in Samaria is a huge testimony that it can be done. That's an economic component. Sometimes it's the political reality at very high levels, whether it be in the international community or in the Palestinian community, that tells a very different story. And we were able to see Israeli hospitals on the Syrian border. Only one reason why it's there is not to serve Israelis, it's really to serve others that are in harm's way in a conflict in Syria. And so that shows the benevolent side of the Israeli government.
What is the main misconception or maybe even lies that you're coming home to confront?
Well, the misconceptions come about in part due to mainstream media, present company accepted, as in the sense that the truth of the matter is not being properly conveyed outside of the borders of this country. The truth being that the people of Israel just simply want to live in peace. They want to be able to live with their neighbors in peace. The other truth is that the conflict is, or the cause of the conflict that we see at home on the news every night is not this Palestinian-Israeli conflict, because we see the rest of the Islamic world going up in flames. And so we realize that solving one issue is not going to solve that. I was with the Prime Minister the other evening, and I think he says it better than I can, that conflict is a conflict of modernity versus the old religious orders.
Seeing how the Israeli public, how the Israeli government dealt with the past few days with the tension, what point touched you in terms of just personally?
Well, I think one that touched me personally was to see the grief and the tragic loss that so many people had experienced, because it's not just some abstract person. A lot of times Israel is so small that it's a neighbor, it's a friend, or a friend of a friend, and I think that's the thing that's touching to me, is see the compassion that reaches out, whether it's in your immediate family or not.
I'm always amazed because the people seem to take it in stride. On the one hand, that's a good thing, but on the other hand, it's unfortunate that they have to take it in stride. They've lived under this, people of Israel have lived under the oppression from without for so long period of time, but they're able to do it. They're resilient. They've come through one conflict after another, and they just want to live life in full and enjoy and freedom.
I think the other thing that's concerning to me, though, is how the media internationally is acting like it's an aggression of Israelis. And we were on the ground in Hebron, and just a few minutes before someone dressed up as a journalist attacked one of the Israeli police security forces there. And so to see the activity that's there, we were there, it was non-aggressive, and then to see the response is troubling, and that's the message that needs to get told.
You're here in Judea and Samaria. That also, of course, is it's considered a controversial issue, at least in America, at least when we hear from the State Department.
Yeah, well, the State Department, I've had my disputes with the State Departments over the years, but as we've just seen in some of the factories here, and I've talked to people over the years as well, the people can actually obviously live together without dispute. Perhaps if we got less of the outside international pressures coming on little Israel and the influences of outside groups and what have you that put wrong pressure on them, maybe you could get over some of these conflicts.
Do you feel fear?
I'm not going to feel fear, because when I feel fear, the enemy has won. And so, but do we have to be vigilant? Without a doubt, we have to be vigilant. But the other part of that is this the kind of peaceful situation that I might have in Washington, D.C. or other places? No, I'm not used to as many guns on the sidewalks as perhaps Israeli citizens see each and every day. But what we have to make sure of is that we address the problem and not live in a spirit of fear.
Each time, as I said, each time I've been here, it's been a time of conflict. I've always felt safe here, sometimes safer than some of the places back elsewhere.